Thinking about buying a franchise? Then the How to Buy a Franchise show is just for you. Here's your host, Dr. John Hayes.
Hi, this is John Hayes with HowToBuyFranchise.com, hosting the How to Buy Franchise show, and my guest is Kevin Johnson, the founder, CEO, president, chief of everything, I suspect, right? Of Over the Top Cake Supplies. So, Kevin, when I say that name, it gets me emotionally excited. I want to see some cake.
Absolutely.
Or I want to have a cupcake. But I don't want any supplies. Okay. What's that about? Tell us about your business. What is this business?
So the business model, John, is we are a cake supply retail store for the cottage baker, for the home baker, for the small independent bakery, restaurant, whoever it might be that can't buy in master cases can come buy one-offs at the store.
So are you a wholesaler or are you open to the public? I can come in and buy a cupcake.
You cannot come in and buy a cupcake.
All right.
We are a cake supply store and a classroom concept, educational
You'll teach me
and
how
fun.
To bake a
Absolutely.
Cupcake.
We will teach you how to bake.
Decorate a cupcake.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And a cookie and a cake pop or anything you want.
All right.
Absolutely.
So your customers are people who are already maybe bakers at home.
Absolutely. They are.
Or a little kitchen maybe that they have?
Absolutely.
What's the typical customer? Who is your typical customer?
So the typical customer, and it evolves obviously, but the typical customer is one that is a home baker / cottage baker. There's a lot of that industry going around where you can
How big is that industry?
It's becoming huge. I mean, and not only what's happening is the farmers markets and the flea markets. They're now these home bakers are now being allowed to get into that business and sell products. Where in the past it had not been able to. So, and on top of that, you have all these TV shows, the Food Network, and there's cupcake shows, and all these these events that are going on TV that people want to learn how to decorate cakes, make cupcakes, make cake pops.
What's the cake out of New Jersey? I think it's a TV show.
The Cake Boss. Absolutely.
Yeah, the Cake Boss.
The Cake Boss is instrumental in building this concept.
Yeah, and he makes some huge cakes and transports them, and you always think this thing's going to fall over before you get it to the party.
And they may, we just don't see it.
Yeah, right. So
exactly.
How about the investment in your franchise?
Okay, so the investment range with all in, including franchise fee, is typically $155 to $250. Depending on the build out and the location.
And I am in a strip center, maybe, or am I?
Yeah, a strip center is good. That's where so far our four franchisees are, and it's kind of like a B property, like a one-off of the main road is very acceptable. Very acceptable because it's a destination for the supplies.
Okay. So how many people am I going to need for this kind of a franchise?
Well, that's another unique thing. So if you're lucky enough to find cake decorator in people interested in cake decorating, or they do it at home as an owner, that's even a plus. So typically our corporate location and the franchisees we started the first year, we were able to do it with 2 people. We're up to 3 at the corporate location. The franchisees are still at 2 people. So it's great in the sense where you do not need to have a lot of employees.
So when you say that I have 2 people operating in the franchise, what are they doing?
Okay, so they're running the retail store, but they also are doing classes. So the classroom stream is the exciting part, and that's because it's about a 90% profit in the classroom. So my philosophy is fill the classroom. I don't ever want to see the classroom empty. We do birthday parties, we do team building events, we do ladies' night out, which is the corks and confection, and that's your painting with the twist concept.
Yes.
But instead of painting, you're making cake pops or cupcakes or cookies. So that's that, and then we do a lot of other instructional, educational classes and such.
How big is a classroom typically?
Classroom typically is about 500 square feet.
Okay, and how many students will I seat in that?
20 to 25 max.
And if I've got 25 students, is it daytime, nighttime, both, weekends?
Both.
Evenings?
All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above.
Anytime. And
hey,
then
you're a business owner. You don't ever sleep.
Well, that could be a downside because a lot of people want to be franchisees from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and not on weekends. So
obviously, that's
now what happens.
That just slows down your return on investment time.
Okay. So the ability to fill the classroom with students, a lot of marketing involved in this. How does that work?
Okay, so Fortunately, the marketing most of our marketing is done by social media. This is a very tight industry and concept to where anybody that is involved in cake decorating, they kind of all follow the same social media and sites. So we advertise a lot through that revenue, and it so far has not been a problem, with getting the...
My marketing budget, does it have to be so much per month, or how's that work?
Marketing budget typically is about $2,500 a quarter. So yeah, you're looking at, $500 to $700 a month.
And will I get out of that? Will I get one class, or will I get 25 students?
You'll get several classes. You'll get several classes because the idea is to have at least 4 to 5 days full of classroom classes / and/or birthday parties, team building events. We have several days where we'll do a team building event in the morning, we'll do a classroom in the afternoon, and a ladies' night out in the evening. So you're able to really stagger and fill that classroom.
And if I'm a customer, I could come this week to learn how to make cupcakes, and next week to learn how to decorate cakes, and the next week for cake pops, and the next week for something else. What's a class cost me? How
Absolutely.
much?
Anywhere from $25 to all the way up to $200.
Wow.
Because we bring in guest celebrity cake decorators and cake sculptors, and we bring them from around the country, and they have like a traveling circuit, and those are the classes that are obviously the upper cost.
This reminds me a little bit of the niche of the wine and painting, the Pino's palette type of
absolutely
where similar. You can do team building, where you can have a party, where ladies' night out is fun.
Absolutely.
And so it's similar to that.
It is similar.
This is a social type of franchise.
It really is, and that's obviously where the highest profit margin is. The exciting part is everybody that leaves that classroom is now a retail customer. So you're looking at 1,500 square feet of retail items that I can tell you nobody leaves a party
without buying
something.
The supplies.
Yes.
And where's the money? Is it in the education? Is it in the supplies?
You mean sales?
For the franchisee, where do I want to concentrate my time?
Okay, well, probably 50-50. I mean, 50 because you have so much space in retail, and it is so busy. Because you'll get people lined out the door. Surprisingly, it's a great industry. But obviously, like I said, the revenue, 90% profit is out of that classroom. So it's a great profit center.
Is the franchisee normally the teacher?
Preferably, it would be fantastic.
All right.
Because that way you're teaching classes instead of hiring somebody. So that just doubles your profit.
Yeah. But how difficult is it for me if I've never baked anything, but I have a desire to know how to make beautiful cupcakes, let's say.
Sure.
I'd rather eat them than make them, I think. But let's say that's what I want to do. You train me, and do I come to your corporate for training classes? Do I come several times a year, or do I learn everything in 1 month, or how does that work?
So, well, obviously, the more you learn, the more classes you take, and the more education you get, the better you get. But certainly for birthday parties, you could typically learn within a month. You can learn enough to guide the children on birthday parties and cupcakes. When you get into the educational and instructional classes, you'll want more of a professional and or be more educated. So I'm guessing within a year, I feel confident within a year, if you truly want to learn everything, you could learn.
And I could do that through corporate.
You can do that in corporate training. So we have corporate training that's included in your franchise fee and your startup. And of course, we have a full-time corporate test kitchen lab that can come in at any time and get instruction. And
the initial training is how long?
The initial training is 2 weeks at the store and 2 weeks at the corporate headquarters.
So 4 weeks of training altogether. Right. And will I know how to do a basic cupcake class at that
absolutely,
point?
Absolutely.
All right. And parties, I'm assuming you can do that. And then the difficulty for franchisees. Training, marketing, where of the 8 franchisees you have, what do they complain about the most?
So probably the biggest complaints that they have is in the beginning is getting a lot of the retail people finding them, the cake clubs. So we really came up with some really neat, exciting ideas on reaching out to all the cake club members, because it's a big part of the everyday business is the cake club members, because there's several around the region. So we reach out to them, we incent them to come in, give them for anybody that involved in the cake club gets a 10% discount, things like that. And that's helped tremendously on the rest of it.
And the difficulty for the franchisees is?
Just understanding, the time it takes to get the everyday customer to come in on a regular basis.
Okay, and this will happen through word of mouth.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is a social type of franchise.
It really is.
And if you're a social type of person and you're a good networker, this might be, it's on a retail location.
Absolutely.
Top end is about $200,000.
Yes.
And then what's the ongoing? What's the royalty? What's the advertising fee?
Okay, the advertising fee is 2%, and the royalty is 6%.
Okay, so franchisees like the training in particular. Franchisees, what part of the business do they say, this is what I really appreciate?
Okay, so there's so much passion in this type of business, and so what they love is all the creative, because our corporate parent company is the distribution arm for the franchise. We distribute all the products. So we have 37 years of bakery distribution business. So we're constantly getting new and exciting items that other cake supply stores independently owned have no access to. So their passion and their excitement is how we keep them so generating new ideas and new concepts and new party ideas and classroom educational.
Good. And I assume the franchisees are usually going to find financing for these for their operations. Are you SBA approved?
We are SBA approved. We so far we have assisted in finding the funding for all of our franchisees, and it's been very successful.
Very good. Well, my guest here is the over-the-top Cake Supplies.
Nailed it.
Wow, that's a long name.
It is a long name.
How about just Cake Supplies?
Well,
you like over the top?
I love over the top.
Yeah, okay.
I started that brand about 20 years ago in a couple other items, and I started with the Sprinkle Company, and I just love the brand.
So it's over the top Cake Supplies. Interesting franchise, a fairly new franchise. 8 franchisees you have at this point, but looking to expand across the United States.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are into baking at home and baking clubs, and this is a fun business and a social franchise as well. I'm John Hayes with the How to Buy a Franchise Show.
Thank you for listening to How to Buy a Franchise Show. If you want immediate assistance, visit howtobuyafranchise.com to contact Dr. John Hayes for a free consultation.